see, we're going live, Nate.
All right.
Setting up. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jason Stephenson, and thank you very much. This has been an interesting morning, just trying to get on here. So we're on live, and hello, Christina. And I'm just going to get the link to share this out on Facebook. So if you can just bear with me for a moment. Share here. Copy that. We'll be with you one moment. And I've got my guest here, Nate Bockus. So yeah, welcome, Nate.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Jason.
Hey, no, guys, I didn't forget what to do. Zoom has been challenging and wouldn't allow us to go live on Facebook. And so we've had to switch it quickly and go live on YouTube. So I'm just going to share this to the Facebook tribe. So if you just give me a moment, and I will share this out on my page. And we'll wait for people to come. Won't be one moment. Okay, here we go. So they'll all know where to come now. Okay, that's awesome. These things, you know, just these small little technical things just keep me on my toes. But today, guys, I want to officially welcome Nate to the channel. Thank you, Nate, for joining me and for taking time out. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
And why I've selected Nate, actually, I've been a friend of Nate's now for since MySpace days, probably, I don't know, maybe how long, Nate? 15?
Yeah.
13 years, 14 years, something like that.
Right.
And Nate has always been a real positive influence for me, and has a great knack of maintaining his positivity, just constantly, even through these really difficult times now. Nate, this is what I like. You know, what I love about you is that you know, sometimes your positivity is like, it's just constantly going. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, how does he do that? How does he maintain this level of positivity in this, especially in these times of uncertainty? And I'm going to ask that question to you, Nate. How is it? How is it that you maintain? Do you have dark times yourself, or yeah?
Absolutely. Yeah. I do have dark times. I think it's the times that are the challenging and uncertain times that allow me to sit with the space of that discomfort. And and that's really kind of what wakes up my soul. And instead of going out and dreaming of the things that I could have or how life could be or something like that, it gives me a chance to be real, completely real, with egoless, you know, outlook. And it's times like this that we can really tune into our authenticity, our sincerity, the way that we communicate with people. Really, if you don't know tomorrow's going to be here, you are feeling the earth more with your feet. You're looking at people in the eyes more. You're feeling more compassion and just a deeper sense of gratitude altogether. And so I think it's these times that really wake up my soul. And the other times in between, yeah, I'm enjoying life to the fullest, but I think it's these challenging times that I really dig deep and something else comes out. It's something larger than me, I would say. It's you know, and so that allows me that.
Yeah, it was interesting what you said about the you know, there's this time for manifestation and for, you know, the dreaming of your bigger goals and things in life, and even material possessions. And there's nothing wrong with that sort of thing. But right now, as you said, it's a time really of introspection and grounding, if you like.
Yeah.
Being
Yeah.
is present.
Being fully present. And getting that sense, that perception of impermanence in our body vehicle, that allows you to be fully present here and now. And I think that's where the magic is. Rather than getting caught up in the head about what may or may not be, or what has or has not been. It really gives you a chance to see the temporary moment, and at the same time the eternal moment that is always happening right now.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've just recently, as you're aware, and I know many of my listeners are aware, that I'd come back from India, and over there was not so much word of it. Like, of course, I was hearing from friends, and things were starting to create havoc here in Australia and probably in the USA as well. I think Australians were the first to buy out of the toilet paper thing, which was absolutely madness. And I remember commenting on that, doing a video on that on Facebook. But other than that, it was sort of almost like we were laughing at it, and it was all light and almost like it wasn't happening. Now, I come back to Australia, and a few days later, I became sick, and started off with swollen glands, and then body aches and pains, and then the sore throat and the cough. Now, I kind of I did promise myself that I wasn't going to allow myself to get sucked into all of this and just think, okay, I see what's going on, but I know the power of belief also. But what happened was that I ended up getting I was quite unwell. So I decided, in the best interest for myself, but for the public as well, and all the people that I was touching and hugging, and that I needed to get tested for the coronavirus. And I only just got my results back yesterday. And of course, it's negative. But I will tell you that fear began to creep in for me. And I personally believe those days in waiting, I began to get sicker. And then it was more the sicker I became, the more I feared. And it was this cycle, right? Now, yeah. I got back the results yesterday, and it was almost like, well, this weight had been lifted and freedom. And then today, it's almost like an instant healing. I've still got a bit of a sore throat, but I'm walking down the street like nothing's wrong with me. And I'm like, wow. Isn't this interesting that our minds, the power of belief, and as Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about, the power of the belief of biology, if we believe we are sick, we are contributing to that ourselves as well. And what are your thoughts on that, Nate, about the power of our minds?
Yeah. So you and I talked the other night a little bit about this, how when you're sitting in front of a television, your mind drops a brainwave state so it can receive messages, because you're not really on guard. You're just kind of zoned out, watching, whatever you're watching, and commercials will come in between, and you're so just kind of relaxed and tuned in that you're able to receive these messages. And it's the same thing when we're mindlessly scrolling on our phones, on our computers. We're sitting here in front of, social media, and we're looking at stuff, and we're just kind of in this different brainwave state. We're not really paying attention. And we keep seeing this news about the virus and all of this havoc going on. And, and it's happening on a global scale. So everyone is feeding each other's, we're all feeling each other's anxiety and energy and uncertainty. And so you're picking that up as you're scrolling along and you're looking at this stuff, and it's able to just enter your mindset in such a way that now everybody is saying, you know, am I feeling okay? The more you're concentrating on how you're feeling, like, oh, I haven't sneezed in 10 days. And then all of a sudden I sneezed. Am I getting sick? You know, and then you start triggering those like warnings. You know, if someone asks you, how are you doing? You look a little pale. Then you start thinking, do I look pale? Am I feeling okay? What am I feeling like? And you're overthinking that. And you're actually weakening yourself in that worry state.
So basically you're saying, like, when we sit in front of this, the TV or the Facebook, and Facebook is just as bad, if not worse now, than, because that's got the media on it now. We don't even have to watch TV anymore. But basically what you're saying is that when we sit in front of this and when we're mindlessly scrolling, we are in a brainwave state that allows just everything to enter with a greater ease, including negativity, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we know that, of course, during this time, and now I might get a few things straight before we move on too. Firstly, these are my opinions and Nate opinions only, and we're only expressing our thoughts. And this is by no means what we say. I encourage you all, please do your own research. Go to the websites, the government websites if you choose to, or the natural alternative website, but do your own research. And I want to make that very, very clear, because these are just thoughts and opinions expressed by Nate Bockus and Jason Stephenson. Okay, I want to get that out of the way first. So we all know that there's things that we need to do to protect us, like physical things such as, you know, the hand washing and the social distancing. Now this seems to be social distancing. This is like a regular term now that we're going to hear more of, probably for the next 6 months. I know that the Prime Minister of Australia just made an announcement and said this is going to go on for 6 months, maybe more, possibly less, but 6 months roundabout. Who's to tell? And exercise is important, and getting some sunlight and a spiritual practice is important as well. And but I'm wondering, Nate, mentally, to stay on top of this sort of thing, what are some of the things, or what is something that you could recommend that people do to mentally stay on top of things? Because there's a lot of anxiousness around.
Yeah.
Would you suggest anything?
Well, exercise is a big deal. I like to do yoga. I like to go for a run. I like to listen to something positive, whether I'm, listening to a podcast or listening to, a speaker on YouTube or an audiobook, something to keep feeding my mindset. Eating healthy, because that carries that level of vibration that you need to stay positive. You can't eat a lot of sugars, and I mean, it's good to use your medicine as you will. Just be mindful of the balance. Energy, like high energy foods, are better for your mindset overall. So personally, for me, I try to surround myself with as much positivity, whether it's books, whether it's content, whatever I'm doing. Meditation is huge for me. And that's just sitting with the spaciousness of becoming aware of what I'm thinking, sitting with the uncertainty.
So sitting with the uncertainty, can I ask about that?
Yeah. So
yeah, can you tell us a little bit more about that, and how do we sit with the uncertainty? What do we do there?
So our lives that we've always, people always say how, make friends with or make peace with everyone in your life in case you never know what might happen tomorrow, or, things like that.
Mm.
But when it's put into a limelight like this, this covers everyone on a global scale, and the future has never been more uncertain for us, So we've always had that sense of security. Life is going to continue as it always has, but now we feel that sense of insecurity, that vulnerability. And so sitting with my feelings as far as meditation, or realizing what my self dialogue is, tuning into my thoughts, tuning into my body and seeing where I'm holding tension, and then breathing into those areas. I like to breathe into, I'll say, if my back shoulder blade feels tense, once I'm sitting there for a while, I start to notice areas of my body that are hanging on to that tension. And so breathing in to that specific area, and even, with your mind or whatever, just breathing some relaxation, relaxing my shoulder, relaxing my arm. And then with each breath, inhale, exhale, you start relaxing the tension and the resistance in those areas.
Yeah, so the body starts to almost naturally, just doing that action of breathing into wherever that tension is, the body starts to naturally relax itself or soften.
Yeah. Open itself up a little bit. And that also gets your mind and brain a little more active about giving it something to do besides focusing on these thoughts that are running rampant about everything else that's going on in the world. It kind of brings you to a present state of awareness. Another thing that I like to do, well, disconnecting from your thoughts, people can look at it multiple ways, but I like to kind of picture my whole body breathing in every single pore at once. So if you just imagine your entire being taking inhales and exhales, again, your mind starts to focus on your entire being instead of thinking and throwing off random, monkey mind conversation.
So it's kind of like, Nate, when you do that breathing in and out, so it's the visualizing the process of when you're breathing in and out, that you're breathing in and out through the pores of your skin, right?
Yeah.
And that bringing a sense of complete awareness.
Yeah. And you can do that, with your entire being. You can bring all of your energy up to the crown of your head, to the forehead. You feel your whole concentration going into a certain area, and it just allows the thoughts to kind of be elsewhere without you concentrating so much on disconnecting. Because if you just say, all right, I'm going to sit here and not think, I'm going to turn off my thoughts, then you start having a million thoughts, and you're focusing on fighting them off rather than just giving the mind and body and brain something else to do. It's,
Yes.
If a 3-year-old is holding a vase, you don't want to just take the vase away from him. You want to replace it with like a red balloon or something. And then and so that's the same thing with what we're doing with the mind.
It's almost like it's like kind of a good distraction, if you like.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's a better than a distraction. It's actually, it's not a distraction. In fact, it's kind of like it's being.
Yeah.
It's just being.
Yeah. And so it's pulling you into present moment awareness.
Which during this time and with what's going on right now, there's not so much present moment awareness, because we are listening in and we are tuning in and we are thinking more about the future and what is going to happen, rather than when we tune into this very present moment here. Usually if we ask ourselves in this very moment, are we safe now? Is everything okay just in this moment?
Right.
And the answer is usually yes.
Yeah.
When we catch ourselves in this very present moment, the answer is usually yes. And then we ask the next moment, what about now?
Yeah.
Breathing in, yes. And so we're just bringing ourselves back to the present moment rather than getting carried away with thoughts of suffering and what's going to happen and fear. Now, I'm not saying here, and I make this clear too, that that you should not be prepared. Preparation is a different thing, of course, and what you do, what you choose to do with your physical environment. We're told to social distance. That doesn't mean go out and start hugging people, and especially now at this time. No. Can I just quickly share with you this story that happened in India, if you don't mind, Nate?
Absolutely.
I was at this conference in India, and this doctor was speaking strongly. I wasn't at his conference, but I heard it. And he was speaking very, very strongly about do not shake hands anymore and do not hug. Now, of course, when we all went to this yoga festival in India, the first thing everyone was doing was hugging and shaking hands. And, it was beautiful. And so when I heard people talk about what this doctor had said, everyone's kind of laughing at the time and thinking, oh my goodness, like he's going overboard. He gets really angry if you shaking hands. And anyway, so they were talking about it at the lunch break, and we're on these communal tables having lunch, and they just finished telling me about it. And I sort of had a bit of a chuckle, and we hugged each other, and because we didn't know what was really going on here in the West. Okay. And the next moment, that doctor that was presenting that talk come and sat right next to me, near me. Now, I didn't know that was the doctor. And so I've just put my hand out straight away and said, "G'day, mate. Nice to meet you." And he, of course, has just put his hands together and he's going, "Don't touch me. Don't touch me." And the girl just nudged me next to me and said, "Jason, that's the doctor I was talking about. You don't shake hands." And I was like, "Oops." Oh my goodness. So it was a bit of an amusing time. But Nate, I think there's a bit of an issue here in regards to with Western medicine and with the way we treat our bodies. And I'm going to put my hand up and be one of the first for this as well, is that we seem to abuse our bodies all the time by eating poor nutrition, by drinking, by not exercising, by surrounding ourselves in negativity. And then when something goes wrong, we wait for medical science, or we go and rush for pills. We want instant quick fixes, but we never think about eating that cream stuffed donut and recognizing that what we eat there, we are, we're putting toxins into our body, but we don't think of it. And then we always want handouts of quick fixes when things go wrong. And so basically what we're here doing today is just offering some advice on what we can do to better help ourselves and to take responsibility for our own health, because unfortunately right now there isn't a magic vaccine available, and there might not be a vaccine available for those of you that want to take it. Some don't want to take it, but there won't be a vaccine available probably for 12 months or more. So it is really imperative that we start doing some research and recognizing what we are doing to our bodies, and what fuel we are putting into our bodies to boost our immune systems. I put something up about vitamin C on my page, my personal Facebook page. And that's just one small thing, but there's so much more that essential oils can be very good. But like you said, Nate, yoga, exercise and yoga is a beautiful gift because it's a balance. It's a combination of that physical exercise, but also that spiritual connection, grounding.
Yeah.
And you say that you do yoga, Nate, and can I ask you how has yoga helped you?
I've been doing yoga for quite some time, and I notice when I fall out of practice, because that's when I feel my body get tighter. I hang on to things more, like thoughts. My inner dialogue changes overall when I'm not doing yoga. When I am doing yoga, I am stronger. I am able to sit, like, how I talk about sitting with discomfort, because in yoga you'll stand in a position, or you'll be in a pose, an asana, and you can be there. Your body will be shaking and you'll be resisting it with all your might, but you stay with it, and you in a way make peace with it, and breathe through the discomfort. That's kind of the thing that you learn in yoga, is breathing through these poses, coming back to the breath and focusing on that, and coming back to your center. And so when I'm doing yoga more, I catch myself doing that in all areas of life. And I just think that it benefits society so much when you start practicing that.
Yeah, that makes so much sense, what you said about that, of being in that discomfort, because and then breathing through that, and it's not giving into that, right?
Yeah.
And it's empowering yourself to move through that. What I would like to do, if I can do this, I'm just going to sit. Yep, I'm here now on the chat, and I'm going to open this up now because I haven't seen the chat here. For anyone that has questions at all in regards to, let's just keep it not just talking about India or anything like that, but in regards to what Nate can say about in regards to fear, if you want me to talk about anything, just anything in regards to how you can manage fear better, or what we can offer you. If anyone has any questions, please send it through. And thank you very much for all of you being here. I see a lot of, I don't know if you can see the chat there.
I can't.
Can I send you the link, Nate, or?
I bet you can send me the link.
Okay. What I'll do is I'll just put it on, I'll put it on chat here in Zoom meeting.
Okay.
Let's see if it can. But if not, I can read it out to you, mate.
Yeah, that's fine.
So that's the YouTube there. And okay, this is a great point, Nate, and there's quite a lot of questions coming in now. Okay, how can we manage social isolation? It's tough for me as a college student, not interacting for days. Social isolation. Now, this is a great question. Do you have any ideas for that, Nate?
I think social isolation probably fears us the most, because it's basically facing ourselves. We have, we're used to keeping ourselves busy, and sometimes we do that so that we don't have to sit with ourselves. And something that you learn in meditation is you can sit there for, however long. And the biggest hump that you have to get over is learning to sit. And I've always said the longer you sit, the longer you can sit. And so socializes isolation, it's a scary thought. At the same time, I would say to start coming into a practice where you can tune into your center, tune into your breath, like we were talking about, present moment awareness, rather than letting your mind think of 1,000 potentials of what may or may not happen. Be where you are, be present, fill your mind with any kinds of positivity. We're not going to be alone forever. I would say to just come to peace with where you are.
I think that's a great reminder too, that we're not going to be alone forever, and yeah, dare I say it, ultimately we are never alone anyway. But I don't want to get too caught up in that, because I understand this social distancing can be hard, especially if there's many people out there that that rely on people more than others. For me, I'm a social isolation person. So, of course, for me, I'm not going to struggle with this so much. But I understand for other social beings, this could be quite difficult. But I think that what you said, Nate, about meditation, because what happens when we sit and meditate, if we're not used to that, the first thing we want to do is we get bored or we get frustrated and we want to move and we want to do something. And that process of sitting there and being there and staying there, pushing through that, helps us in times like this, because we then begin to get stronger of just being rather than having to do. Upon saying that, isn't this a beautiful time to begin to get creative? To think of things that you can do, to go back to, maybe you might have been doing drawing at school, or you might have been singing, or you might have been playing an instrument, or, and with social media today, we are very, very blessed, because we can now do Zoom calls, we can do Facebook Messenger calls. There's so many people we can connect with on other levels. So that's a blessing, right?
Absolutely.
Right. I'm just going to check these. Allison says, how do I do my law assignment? Allison, I'm going to leave that one to you. You can figure that one out yourself. What do we got? Yes, and Paul O'Shea says, this is a beautiful example. Italians have sorted social isolation out by communicating balcony to balcony, singing to each other and staying connected. And have you guys seen that? Like,
it's beautiful.
How beautiful is that?
It's beautiful. Yeah, actually, and there was someone I was speaking with today was saying, well, if everyone ends up quarantined in their homes, maybe we can start an online band and have people, on a Zoom meeting, for example, and everybody compiling songs together and being able to broadcast it for other people, and just thinking up things that are, we currently have this communication to be able to chat with anyone all over the world, and it's a beautiful time.
Yes. I love that idea of the collaboration process, creating songs together, or, books, writing poetry, sharing this backwards and forwards. This is a beautiful time to, instead of, we've got this social distancing, yet why don't we look at this, instead of the social distancing, as a way of space, inner space, to begin a new it's like almost like wiping the slate clean. We have a chance to start again, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is like we were saying earlier, it's coming from a genuine, authentic, sincere place. People are able to really tune into their heart and their state of being right now, their present moment awareness, and create anything. You have a chance right now to really live from that inner center.
Yes, it's interesting you say that, because most of you know, Nate, and most of you know that I work online, and yet even I have, even in regards to working now, there's this something that has changed in the air. It's this, for me, it's like this slowing down. And I don't know whether it's this consciousness because everything's beginning to stop. Although it's not affecting my work directly, I am feeling this empowerment of, hey, I'm not going to get caught up speeding in my work processes anymore. Like, why? Let's just slow down and begin to do things in a more natural, organic process that is really beneficial to our hearts.
Yeah.
So it's been a bit of an awakening for me. I'm just seeing if there's
Absolutely.
any more questions here, and I'm sorry if I might have missed something. Madeline says, I stay home from school. How can I manage my time wisely? Nate, do you want to comment on that one at all?
um I'm trying to think about this question. I'm not so sure that I manage my time wisely, actually, because as Jason knows, I've had a million ideas and avenues throughout the years that we've known each other, and I I've had this ability, I will say, to come up with an idea and start going at it full on for a little while, and then getting bored with it and putting it away, and then going for this other idea for a little while. And it's I've left a lot of things undone, and I think that's possibly from not knowing how to manage time. But I think right now we are all given an opportunity to have a little more time, like you said, to slow down a little bit and not try and race the clock. It seems like right now is a good chance for us to all, we have an extra amount of time on our hands. Maybe social distancing includes getting a limited amount of time on social media so that you can work on projects that you want or need to a little more. And there's also a podcast that talks about committing 20 minutes as like 20-minute blocks. So it's 20 minutes of working really intensely on something and then giving yourself a 20-minute break to completely turn off your focus from that, do something else. At the end of that 20 minutes, you go back and you are full on into this task again. And I haven't done that myself, but I've heard that it's very successful.
I really like that idea of that commitment of 20 minutes, because what that does is it sets the mind. And because it's so easily to be distracted, especially if you're working on a computer with so many tabs open. But if you say to yourself, okay, for 20 minutes, I'm going to be focused on this and this alone, that's great, like mind training, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And here's what I say also to that, Madeline. You say, how can I manage my time wisely? Sometimes I wonder if you're managing your time wisely at school. Like, honestly, and I'm not trying to be smart here, but you know, sometimes at school we're so distracted. I know I was distracted and I was a dreamer. And so I was probably better off spending time out of school than in school because my reports always said, Jason is easily distracted. He's a dreamer. And that's what I got time and time again. Focus, focus, Jason, focus. Stop staring out the window.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they didn't like it, but I was kind of getting something out of it.
That was me too.
Yeah, you're the same, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just seeing if there's any more. Well, Chantel says 20 minutes is very long. Then if 20 minutes is very long, Chantel, you might want to try even doing it for 10 minutes. We can create our own rules, right?
Yeah.
We can create our own rules there. Jason, many persons cannot manage their time properly. And that's right. And I think, yeah, in regards to managing time. Yeah,
it's kind of nice. It's nice knowing that you're not the only one.
Yeah.
It's nice knowing that you're not the only one, you know, like I can't manage my time. Everybody else seems to be able to. Actually, you know, there's a select amount of people that are able to focus and manage their time wisely. There's millions of people that can't. It's nice to not feel so alone in that factor.
So could I ask you guys then out there too, and for those of you, some of you might already be in social isolation positions. I know I have been over the last 4 days. What have you been doing so far? What have you been doing? And this is something really closely to look at now. And for me, and again, I will be honest with you guys, because I had this virus, whatever it was, whether it be a bug from India or something, I allowed myself to get caught up in that media. And I spent a bit of time on focusing on the media and almost like trying to convince myself that I have this coronavirus. And it disastrously played out in my body because I began to go down and got worse. And the more people ask me how you're feeling, the worse it seemed to get, until all of a sudden they released the chains from me yesterday and said, Mr. Jason Stephenson, we got your test results for you in regards to coronavirus. Oh, yes. Waiting for them to say you were positive, and you are negative. Sorry, you are coronavirus negative. Oh, wow. So it's like, and then get off the phone and I'm jumping up and down cheering.
Right.
So, and then all of a sudden this weight's lifted, joy's come back, and I'm getting better by the moment now. Very powerful. The Biology of Belief of Dr. Bruce Lipton's book is one book that I highly recommend. I got to speak with Bruce in India numerous times, and I got to hear him speak numerous times. And it was an absolute wake-up call to be careful what we think about, because our thoughts control our emotions. And when we create fear in our body, the fight or flight mode kicks in, and we end up pumping cortisol and adrenaline into our body unnecessarily, which weakens our immune system and also weakens the mind. And that's the perfect time to allow crap to get in. And instead, doing what Nate has been doing with yoga, allowing those the feel-good endorphins to come in and to boost our immune system, right? This all just helps us in this current climate, and not just the current climate, all the time. So what have people been doing? Some people have been reading a book. Doreen's been reading a book. Seal's been getting supplies, helping managers move their operations to their homes. Watching movies, great thing. Hanging out with one friend. She says, ask next week. They're so busy, but ask next week. Okay. And Lisa says a beautiful thing. The lack of traffic sounds in our town is wonderful.
Mm.
Mm.
That's beautiful.
Mm. And Chantel says, to clarify, Jason, are you safe? Yes, I'm absolutely safe. Chantel, thank you very much for asking. It's all good. I'm working on now building up my immune system.
Yeah.
And a part of that is being here with Nate and being here with you guys presently right now, staying in this moment, right? And Alison says, getting fresh air is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was blessed today to, my dog's still going, Dharma's still going, and I'll quickly see if I can show you guys him. He has cancer of the mouth, but you know, he's probably 98% deaf, 90% blind, cancer of the mouth, still does 2 walks a day and still jumps around like a pup before the walks. And I don't know how long this is going to last. And of course, you know, he's almost 20 years of age. He's sleeping right beside me here. But boy, oh boy, he inspires me, this dog. I'm going to show you him now, and hopefully you can get to see him down there. Can you guys see him?
Oh, yeah.
See if I can wake him. Hey, you want to say hi to everyone? And he says, boring.
Oh.
And that dog is, he's an absolute inspiration. Let me tell you. Yeah. Everyone loves Dharma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little black and white beauty. His name is Dharma, Ali. Yeah. Thank you, Sue. Hello, Bonnie. That's beautiful. Well, my friend, dear Nate, seriously, thank you very much for coming on. And sincere apologies for the technical issues. I won't try and go live on Facebook again, I don't think. I think that's shown me something. But Nate, will you come back maybe later on in next week or the week after, and we'll connect again and talk about a few things?
Absolutely. I'd love to. Thanks for having me on, Jace.
Thanks, mate. And Nate, can people join your positivity? How can they, and where?
Yeah. I have a Nate Bockus Facebook page, or you can send me a friend request. Either way.
Nate
I'm always
Bockus, and
trying
I'm going
to post positive things.
Yeah, I hope you've got I think his name was in the title there. So yeah, check him out on Facebook because you will see exactly what I'm talking about. It's beautiful positivity, even in your darkest moments. And it's great to see that, what he's putting up now, because you'll see the word coronavirus just so much so that, yeah, I really appreciate your work, Nate, and I love you dearly, man, and I'll always treasure who you are and what you stand for.
Thank you. Yeah, I love you too, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you. So, guys, I send you guys all the love in the world, and be safe. Do the social distancing. Washing your hands. But let's remember, we don't have to isolate ourselves. Emotionally and spiritually, we can come together. It's just the physical aspect we might have to get apart, but this can be a time to come together in other ways and form other communities, if you like. So I'm going to be coming back here on Life Expansion again on Saturday, I believe, Australian time, which is Friday night, 6 p.m. Central Time again. And I believe I'll be speaking with Christina Hill, who channels Othello, and we'll get some information from her. So thanks again, guys. God bless, and have a beautiful and safe day or evening ahead. Thank you. Bye-bye.